the staple of consistency within the AFC North, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 years under Mike Tomlin, never a losing record, never less than 8 wins.
You add Patrick Queen there over from your division rival. You take a look at that offensive line, which does have some question marks, but still a decent wide receiving core that they have, a running game that has Najee Harris, and a quarterback that's been there, done that.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup, what you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercado, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
Your mustache is falling.
Dash is falling off. It's got to go. Ski's got another strikeout that I don't want to take. As soon as I take it off, they're going to give up a run. I'm trying to keep it on until he comes out of the game. It's all over the place. Come on. I'm superstitious.
He's got 10. He's got 10 Ks.
He's cruising. Wow.
They pulled Skeens, by the way.
Yeah, they pulled him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast.
So, Jalen Thompson covers the Kansas City Royals for the great KC Star. And I got to tell you, Jalen, I've been watching this team this year. And, the bottom line is I think they've been fantastic. For a team that's 9 games over 500, it's unbelievable to me that they are where they are because, most teams that are 9 games over 500 are in first place. But they're in third place, and they're looking up at the Twins. And the Guardians' start was so incredible that it's put the Royals in this position that they're in. But I still think they're a really good baseball team. And I think potentially in a wild card situation, a playoff team that could do damage. Do you agree with that?
I think the Royals have all the elements that you just mentioned to be that wild card playoff team. When you look at what they have good starting pitching. We're talking about Seth Lugo, Cole Reagans, Michael Wacha. You also have Brady Singer and Alec Marsh. Those 5 guys have really been strong. Prior to Wednesday's game, before Michael Wacha got hit a little bit, they had a 3.50 combined starter ERA. And I believe that is going to be the key because, as you know, when you watch games in October, it's all about can you pitch? Do you have starting pitching? Can you go deep into those games? If the Royals can keep that going throughout the year like they have been so far, they have a shot. And, of course, you have Bobby Witt Jr., you have Salvador Perez, and you have a whole wealth of other veterans that have been there before. They have all the tools that they need to get to the playoffs and potentially make a run.
They won the first game against the Diamondbacks, and I think that had been their 5th win in a row, unless I'm imagining things. And they put 10 on them, but then they get turned around, and Marte hits the big home run, and they lose 6-2. And then last night, what the hell happened in the 9th inning? Because they had the game in the bag, and then they gave up a big inning and blew it in the 9th, right?
Yeah. And when you look at last night's game, you kind of got to look at it as sort of in a vacuum. James McArthur, who's the Royals closer, he was on, and he potentially could have had a strike three, and maybe Salvador Perez could have threw out the guy at second base, and that could have been a big turning point in the game, but it turned into a walk, and then it kind of just cascaded from there. The Royals believe in James McArthur. They like what he has developed into as a closer, and it's going to be ups and downs as a young guy learning that role, but it shouldn't be too much to worry about for the Royals. I mean, they should have took 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks. That is true, and we'll see if they can get back on the horse against the Chicago Cubs on Friday.
Yeah, they're playing those games are in Kansas City, and then they go to the south side of Chicago to play the White Sox. So they play the Cubs in KC, then they go to the Windy City to play the White Sox. And the White Sox are horrible. They are horrible. I mean, they're 50 games under 500. The Royals, and frankly, I think the Cubs suck too, to be honest with you. And I think the Royals absolutely right now have to take advantage of these 6 games in front of them.
Yeah, and when you said it, you have the White Sox coming on the schedule after you play the Cubs. You're going to have pretty much your starters lined up for that series. You're going to see Cole Reagans. You're going to see Seth Lugo. Their turns are coming back up. So you have to really take advantage of those 2 Chicago teams. The Royals have done well against the White Sox this year. They only lost once against them. So it's just a matter of, can they get past the Cubs, and then can they continue that momentum when they go to Guaranteed Rate Field and play those White Sox?
So they're tomorrow night, Hendricks against Singer. Now, I think Singer's been, frankly, great. He's got a 3 ERA, and Jimi Hendrix, we like to call him, has been atrocious for the Cubs. He's had one big win, and that was against the Cardinals. And we bet that game because he's always owned the Cardinals. It's the only team he pitches well against, apparently, is the Cardinals. And he beat them, but he hasn't beaten anybody else. He's sitting there at 2-8. He's got a just sky-high ERA. As far as I'm concerned, Singer needs to go out and beat this guy tomorrow night at the K, and they need to get right back to winning.
Yeah, Brady Singer is really good at home at Kauffman Stadium. You look at some of his numbers, and he's really taken a lot of steps forward, thanks in part to learning from a Seth Lugo and a Michael Wacha. You look at these 2 guys, when they came in this offseason, they really want to help stabilize the starting rotation, and that's what the Royals really went out and signed those guys for. Last season, the Royals didn't have a lot of pitchers that could really throw strikes in the strike zone. They kind of rectified that problem by getting Lugo and getting Wacha in. If you look at what those numbers have turned around to be, a lot of that is because they talked the game out in the dugouts and bullpen sessions. They have a chemistry, they have a bond, and that's the reason why Singer is kind of evolving before our eyes.
How great is the game on Saturday with Imanaga against Lugo? I mean, they both have ERAs in the low 2s. Imanaga is the only guy on the Cubs that matters. And then Lugo, I never in my wildest dreams would thought this guy would be 12-4. I've never thought he was that good. I've never thought he was dominant, but he's been all of that for the Royals this year. This guy has been an absolute stud. Can he beat this guy, Imanaga, who means business?
Yeah, I don't count out Seth Lugo against any team because he has 12 pitches pretty much. I mean, it's a mix of like slider, curveball, slur, fastball, you name it, he can throw it. And the reason why he's been so good is because he has been on this journey to want to be a starting pitcher. And it was something that he didn't really get a chance to do with the New York Mets. So he goes to the San Diego Padres, and they give him a chance last year to prove he can be a starter. He does that. He comes to the Royals. He becomes a frontline starter in Kansas City. And I think that just the development of his pitches and his MLB experience, that has married well together. And, we all want to see him versus Shota Imanaga, two guys that have taken 2 different paths to get to where they are now. And it's going to be a good showcase on Saturday at Kauffman Stadium. And I expect the fans to really enjoy that treat.
So I told you the story. My uncle was the star cartoonist and artist for the Star in his career. And he did all of I mean, I have photos of his. They did a book of his art, and when he passed, the Star did a compilation of all of his work. His name was Jim Murray, and he was a fullback at Missouri, and then he became an artist in life, and he was a great artist. And he painted in my bedroom a Jan Stenerud kicking a field goal for the Kansas City Chiefs back in the day. How cool is it that you work at that great paper that stood the test of time in Kansas City when all these papers around the country have failed?
It's been so great to come to Kansas City and work for the Kansas City Star. A little backstory about me. This is actually my first beat job that I ever had covering a professional sport. And they really have taken me in. They have allowed me to really grow and develop my writing skills. And like, if you look at the names of the people that have come before me at the Kansas City Star, they've went on and done some really successful stuff. And I'm just glad to get the opportunity to be here. And the fans in Kansas City, they are really receptive as well. You see what the Chiefs are doing over there in the NFL, but the Royals fans, they are also passionate. And it just shows like 1985 and 2015, they were highlights. Could 2024 be another one?
I was there in '85. I watched them beat the Cardinals. I was watching Brett Saberhagen, and we don't like the Chiefs, but we like the Royals. Screw the Chiefs. Stay away from them and all their Super Bowl glory and rings. You stick to baseball, Jalen, and we will like you forever. Do not root for the Chiefs. We don't like them here. Great job. It's good to see you.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
If this wind, like we have out of the Northwest, was here all week, it would be insane watching these guys play in it. But it's going to be a southwest wind, which makes it a little easier as far as the direction of the wind. The guys will have it a little bit of a break on the back nine. But it is such a fun golf course, one that I really do think tests every single aspect of your game.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. I was just talking with you about that Pirate win over the Cardinals in the sense that it was, to me, Martin Perez's first really good start for the Pirates. Like, I've thought most of his work was, he got lit and then he got injured and then he came back and he finally gave them a really good start, a shutout start. Like, he went 6 innings, whatever it was, of shutout baseball. That's the first time I've ever seen him look good as a Pirate. And he obviously was injured, fair enough. Now he comes out, pitch like that, and that's what they need. Like when you talk about the Kansas City Royals, like I just did with Jalen, they have 5 guys that can start every 5 days. They're all young, they're all good, and they all have ERAs under like 3.3. 3.3 or under, and Lugo's in the low 2s. The Royals flat out have way better pitching than the Pirates, even though the Pirates have Skeens and Keller. That's 2. And then anything else is up for grabs. When you got 2, you don't have 5. The Royals, to me, Mike, are a playoff team. They've got 5 really good starting pitchers, and they got bats. Don't get me started on Witt and Salvi and the guys that can drive in runs for the Royals. I think they, along with the Mets, have what it takes to be a sleeper playoff damage team. They could do damage with the pitching and the hitting and the defense. Both of those teams are capable of going on a run where everyone just hands the crown to the Dodgers. And you did the odds the other day on the show. It was the Yankees are favored in the American League. Favored my ass. Favored my effing ass. Honestly, seriously, I don't even say that to me ever again, that they're favored to win the American. They're not even winning the East, let alone the American League. When is that happening? When Jesus comes back again? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, well, they love them on the odds boards. That's for sure. They love having them there. Well, I figured I'd give you all the bad Yankee news. I'd at least then turn the frown upside down by giving you Rowdy Tellez yesterday in the Pirate win over the Cardinals. Cannonball, clear the deck, all of it on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Times guys get into situations.
Oh, high fly ball. If it's fair, it is a towering home run. They get Rowdy here. Into the Allegheny she goes. Number 9 for Tellez. 5-0 Bucks. He clears the deck. Yeah, Reynolds says, wait a minute, that's my spot.
Rowdy on cue.
Listen, Rowdy's fun. Everyone loves Rowdy. I like him on the team. I really do. But at the end of the day, I think his 9 home runs are candy ass. He should have at least 15 by now. He's feast or famine home run hitter. That's what he does, right? He's, all of like 365 pounds at least. My man, he can't run. He can't do anything, but he can hit home runs. He's just not hitting enough of them for me. When you have 9, that's candy. 9 is nothing. There's a lot of guys with 9 that are half his size.
He's got 9, but you got to remember, I think he's got like 5 or 6 of them in the past month. Like, he basically did nothing the first 2 months of the season. So he's picking it up now and might be able to make up for all of that lost time. Angels beat the Mariners 2-1. First time all year the Mariners were swept as the Angels took care of business against them. Mike Trout had his first rehab assignment yesterday. The bad news is, Scotty didn't make it through. Exited the game, the knee feeling sore.
Is that not
going to be shut down
unbelievable?
Again. It really is. It's unfortunate, and it is unbelievable.
2 things. One, they're 6-0 against them, against Seattle. That's crazy. Second of all, this guy, honestly, I'm starting to wonder if he's ever going to play baseball again. I legitimately, my man cannot do anything without being his knees have given out on him. He's clearly got a major knee issue. How in God's name, Mike, did they fix it? And he's still this bad. They operated on, fixed it. His problem, that's what they did. They fixed the problem, and they went in and reconstructed his knee, and then he can't play because his knee is so painful and arthritic, and he's got the whole thing going, swelling, tendonitis. It slips. They rebuild your knee and it's still slipping. Oh my God! I don't care what he wears. What's he going to wear? A knee brace like an NFL lineman? Mike Trout is one of the great players we've ever seen, and he may be finished. I know that sounds crazy, but When is the last time you saw this guy legitimately play baseball for more than a month? It's been years.
It's been years. It is amazing what's going on with him. Some think that maybe he was trying to push it back a little too quick, obviously wanting to come back. We'll see what goes on with him and if he ever will come back this year. Let's quickly slide in. You were just talking about the Royals. They did not win last night, 8-6. Diamondbacks end up getting it done. Ketel Marte, 3-run shot on MLB.
Corbin holds it first. Ketel hits it deep to center. Marte gives it a ride. It's still going. It's gone. Ketel Marte, and they've blown it open in the ninth. Marte homers for the third consecutive game in this series, and it's a big Diamondback ninth inning.
Look at those numbers. He hit, 20, 21, 22, drives in all the runs, hits a home run every night. And I said it to you yesterday. Ketel Marte, he's been hitting home runs every night. The guy is on fire. They scored 5 in the ninth to erase the Royals and win that game and win that series. So that's that. I keep telling you, this is every day. This team is playing like they did when they went to the World Series last year. They are winning now every day. They are a team to ride and bet on right now.
We will come back, a couple of other things, and then only 2 games tonight. We will do those. We'll also get the lion's share after that. We do have a couple taters for those 2 games tonight and some other things. And then lots of college football and NFL.
Rowdy.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercado, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
If this wind, like we have out of the Northwest, was here all week, it would be insane watching these guys play in it. But it's going to be a southwest wind, which makes it a little easier as far as the direction of the wind. And the guys will have it a little bit of a break on the back nine. But it is such a fun golf course, one that I really do think tests every single aspect of your game.
Only on SportsGrid.
Well, Carver High doesn't want to hear it, but he has to. I started Cobra Kai last night, Carver High. The final season. What is it? Didn't you say it's a trilogy final season? There's 3 different chunks.
It's 5 now, 5 around December, and then 5 more next spring. It's 3 sets of 5.
So 15 episodes left, and I'm on. I'm on the second one. And what I've noticed, I'll just say because I don't want to ruin it for you. I do know that
I watched the first 2.
So you see your boy John Kreese training people in the woods, like out in the woods. What is going on there?
Wow.
He's got lots in the woods.
Let me just tell you something. That show, it's fun. We watch it. It's a gas. You talk about unrealistic Hollywood touches that get put in that show. That show takes the cake for it. For things that there is almost no chance would happen in real life. The amount of things that happen in that show are insane. But we love it. Because
it is the worst show I've ever seen in my life that I love. I've watched 5 years of it. I've never missed one episode.
There's a lot of just so much nonsense in the show.
It's
but
so
great.
Cheesy. I can't even
get
take
enough of it. It's wild. All right.
But I'm deep in it right now. I'm deep in it. So you're already 2 in. I'm 1.5 in.
I'm 2 in. I'm 2 in.
I had to stop last night. I just couldn't keep going. I had to slow it down because I knew I only had a limited number of episodes here to enjoy before you told me the trilogy ending. I'm very upset about it.
Yeah, very upset indeed. The Mets will get Senga back this weekend. We forgot to mention that before. First time all year, Senga's going to be back for the Mets. Mets start a big 4-gamer with the Braves, which we'll talk about in a second. Red Sox are showing interest in James Paxton after he was released. The White Sox, are on pace to match the most losses in the modern era, which is just misery for them. They are awful, the Chicago White Sox. They cannot get anything done. MLB teams losing television revenue can get luxury tax money after a change in the CBA. So the CBA now allows teams losing TV money to get luxury tax money. Interesting wrinkle. I know there's a few teams around the league that have been asking for that for a long time, Scotty.
Well, that's because all of the regional sports networks have gone under. And so they've had to produce their own baseball TV packages for all these teams around the league. Half of those Bally Sports networks went under. There's a few of them left dangling, but they've all ended up suffering and losing tons of money on their TV sides. It depends on if you have your own network. Like the Pirates have their own network. That Sportsnet Pittsburgh, they have their own network. Same thing, Dodgers have their own network. Cubs, Marquee. Yankees, yes. All those work. The ones that are regionals that were owned by Bally Sports Network and Diamond Sports, they're the ones that all went broke.
2 other things that actually just came across my desk right now. Number one, we talked yesterday about Christian Yelich and the potential that he might have back surgery that would end his season. He is not going to have that surgery right now, Scotty. He is going to try to rest and get better so that he can return for the Brewers this year. But it is expected in the offseason he would need it at some point. So you're going to have to wait that out a little bit. Just keep getting the shots out. And A's reliever Mason Miller, who, of course, has had a huge rookie year, and it was the desire of many with the trade deadline coming up early next week, fractured his left pinky punching a padded table in the training room. Now, this is where the clarification is. He did not pound the table out of frustration. He put his hand down awkwardly on the training table while getting ready to do an exercise, and he fractured his left pinky. Mason Miller on the IL for the A's.
What is happening? And he was highly sought after at the trade deadline. If they wanted to get a bunch of picks and players, Miller was the guy that everybody wants. Rooker and Andahar as well, but Miller's the guy everybody covets.
Indeed. All right. Ohtani wants to play. Now they cannot. Ohtani wants to play at the Olympics, doesn't everybody, in 4 years in Los Angeles. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure baseball's going to have to adhere to that and let all the professional guys go and play over there. All right, we'll come back for the lion's share. I'll actually double dip you on a lion's share. We'll do the taters like we always do and the 2 games for tonight. Braves and the Mets, A's and the Angels, only 2 this evening in MLB.
Okay.
As of July 22nd, we start a new deal with a monster distribution platform called SportsGrid, and we'll be live every day on national radio on SiriusXM channel 159, and we will be live on their national television platform every day from 10 a.m. till noon.
Only on SportsGrid.
If this wind like we have out of the Northwest was here all week, it would be insane watching these guys play in it. But it's going to be a southwest wind, which makes it a little easier as far as the direction of the wind. The guys will have it a little bit of a break on the back nine. But it is such a fun golf course, one that I really do think tests every single aspect of your game.
Only on SportsGrid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. But that's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
Yeah, Luke, I am surprised Carver High doesn't watch Mayor of Kingstown. It's just so violent, and you'd think he'd be in on it. It's just disappointing. The BetMGM Swing for the Fences is free to play, and the daily prizes are Gandhi. Play as the batter and pick an area of the strike zone, get a single, double, triple, homer, fly out, and you can win great prizes. The rewards are ridiculous. Parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, single game parlay boost tokens, bonus spins in eligible casino states, and even bonus bets, which are my favorite. All rewards expire in 24 hours. Carver High wins one every day and puts it in, like his boost token in on his taters. And you should see, and golf bet, you should see the money this guy makes on all these winners that he gets. Singles, doubles, home runs, even a fly out the guy ends up cashing a boost token on. You got to get in on it at BetMGM.com. Download the BetMGM mobile app on iOS or Android and play Swing for the Fences. And it's the Lion's Share brought to you by BetMGM. So it's time for Carver High to unleash his terror of winners and ringing the bell with tater time, with salt. Lots of sea salt on these puppies today.
Absolutely. Always lots of sea salt on these puppies today, that's for sure. All right, why don't we start here? We'll do the games because there are only two of them, along with the taters. The Braves, who have been reeling, head to Citi Field to face the Mets, who have been hot. The Mets have actually creeped to within a couple games of the Braves for second in the NL East and the top wild card. Chris Sale, who's been waiting a few days to pitch, Scotty. Remember, he was supposed to pitch Tuesday night, rained out. Supposed to pitch last night, rained out. Now Sale will finally get to go against Luis Severino. Braves are minus 115 at BetMGM, Mets minus 105, and a 7.5 on the total.
Now, I got to tell you, this is a very dangerous bet, and it's not going to be easy. but I think the Braves have been playing terrible lately. And I know this is their guy. I know this is their stopper. This is the guy to stop the bleeding is Chris Sale. I think he's the Cy Young winner. He's incredible, 13-3. Everything he does is brilliant. There's no denying it. But Severino pitched his best game his last outing. He was brilliant. And they're starting to get something out of Severino, the Mets. And the Mets lineup is savage. They're hitting, and they're hitting, driving in runs, hitting home runs. Lindor's hitting home runs. Alonso's hitting home runs. McNeil's hitting home runs. Alvarez can hit. It goes on and on. Iglesias is great. So I'm going to take the bet. I'm going to take him outright on the money line to upset Sale and the Braves in Atlanta tonight. And the reason I'm doing it, Mike, is because you said it. He's had to wait 3-4 days to get his start in. He was supposed to pitch days ago and got pushed back, then a rain out, then, now he's finally facing the Mets, which is probably what they wanted anyway, as opposed to the Reds, right? So this is a huge game tonight. Not going to be easy. And you wonder if the Mets, you tell me, they come off of a sweep of the Yankees, does that make them satisfied or still hungry to catch the Braves and beat them? I think it's the latter. Keep winning. Screw that you just finished off the Yankees. Go finish off the Braves.
Yeah, only a game and a half back of them now in the National League. The Mets are of Atlanta. So this is a big 4-game series.
They're going to pass them.
And I'm not scared of Sale on the mound either tonight, Scotty. In fact, I'm going to go after him here tonight on some tater time. We'll start with this game here, and that is with J.D. Martinez. Now, Martinez has a lot of at-bats against Chris Sale in his career. Most of them, Scotty, eons ago from back in the American League when J.D. was on Detroit, when he was on Boston, etc. But he does have 3 homers off of him in his career, plus 525 for J.D. Martinez tonight off of Sale. Let's go.
Yeah, listen, I love it. I mean, I'm not done there either. Like,
I'm not done there either.
Yeah, I'm really not. So I don't know if you have other ones on that game.
Well, I don't have any other Mets, but I like, I don't mind ever having Vientos against the lefty. I know Sale's a tougher lefty than most, but I never mind Vientos against
How
the
much
lefty.
did he pay last night for us, Vientos?
$575.
Oh, just $575. Just a little $575 piece last night that we dangled out there ringing a bell. I'll go Vientos. I'll go Lindor again. Lindor's and McNeil's on fire.
Lindor is 15 for 30. Let me get this right. He's 13 for 31 with a homer in his career off of Sale. That's 419. So he's hit Sale very well, Francisco Lindor.
Give me Lindor.
So you can expect that to keep pushing along as well. I'm going to take one on the Atlanta side as well, and it's going to be Austin Riley for me. I know I've wanted Ozuna the last couple days, and he does have a homer off of Severino in his career. There'll probably be a small sprinkle there. But Austin Riley at plus 425 for a couple reasons. A, he always destroys the Mets. And B, Scotty, back off of paternity leave, just had his second child, was out for a couple days. For the new dad, second-time dad, his second child, Austin Riley plus 425.
Gonna hit one for his newborn, huh? Well, look, that's lovely. What I want to see is
the Mets can still win.
Yeah. I'm not interested in his diapers and all of his babies. Here's the deal. I want to see the Mets beat the Braves' ass at Citi Field and keep Mafia in a good mood because the Mets are playing great baseball. I'm telling you, they're going to pass the Braves, who've got nothing but injuries and problems. I mean, the bottom line is that who isn't injured on that team? Who isn't injured? Yes. I can't even believe Sale's the only guy left standing. I really can't. I mean, I guess they're rolling out the fisherman still, Charlie, old man Charlie. So, look, those guys are put together with Band-Aids, Morton and Sales. So I won't deny Sales' season's been phenomenal. I'm just waiting for it to end because he never does finish. Let's see if he stays healthy. But I want to see the Mets pass them.
Late night game, Oakland and the Angels in Anaheim. You're going to have Ross Stripling taking on Kenny Rosenberg. Ooh! Minus 115 for the Angels, minus 105 for the A's, and a 9.5 for the total. I mean, I'm going to get to the taters after you're done. I like the A's tonight.
I like the A's too, but both of these pitchers are awful. I mean, they're both awful. Like, the over is screaming out at me, over 9.5, because both of these guys have ERAs around 6. I think the guy that you're talking about is even worse, Rosenberg. He's 6.5. So they both stink. They both get jacked. But you know what? I know the Angels beat Seattle, but that's the only team they beat. If you've noticed, they've got, I mean, of their handful of wins, because they suck, the only team they play well against is Seattle. The A's hit more home runs than the Angels, double the home runs. So I think all the home runs come from the A's bats.
Well, I think the A's bats will get the home runs as well. In terms of the lion's share here, I'm going to go with the guy who's been the hottest, and you got a lot of hot bats on the A's, and that is Brent Rooker. Who's got 9 home runs in the month of July, plus 260 for Rooker tonight against a guy like Rosenberg that they all should be able to take some hits at. I am going to take one guy on the Angels, though, too, and that's because with Stripling on the mound, you've got a lefty in Adele who, listen, Adele is home run or strikeout. He strikes out 1 billion times, but he catches one, especially against righties like Stripling, plus 525 for Joe Adele tonight for the Angels.
I like Rooker. Throw me in. The Butler did it as well. And Adele, I like the price because you usually hit those big, giant 5 pieces like last night. That 575 was ridiculous. And the minute I saw Vientos hit it, I went crazy. You saw me.
Let's go. I want to get it going here. 2 would be good. We've had a 1, a 1, a 1. Let's get 2 tonight, even with only 2 games. Let's jump up and get ourselves here. The Lion's Share, brought to you by BetMGM.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
As of July 22nd, we start a new deal with a monster distribution platform called SportsGrid, and we'll be live every day on national radio on SiriusXM channel 159, and we will be live on their national television platform every day from 10 a.m. till noon.
Only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup, what you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The staple of consistency within the AFC North, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 years under Mike Tomlin, never a losing record, never less than 8 wins.
You add Patrick Queen there over from your division rival. You take a look at that offensive line, which does have some question marks, but still a decent wide receiving core that they have, a running game that has Najee Harris, and a quarterback that's been there, done that.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Great to have you with us on a Thursday, coast to coast. Don't forget to get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android. It's free. Free as me. And, of course, you can follow your favorite hosts like Carver High. Get all the stories, highlights, videos, in-game odds, everything. How about this? Click live, then click watch, and then boom, in HD, you got SportsGrid right on your phone. You're going to be loving it. And then if you really don't like looking at us, click the gray listen button. Boom, you got radio too. So everything is on there. And again, it's free. The SportsGrid app, second to none. Get it in the App Store. You're styling. All right. College football, you can't hold Carver High's puppies down. He's ready to rock and roll on the college football again today, thank God.
I really am. We have a lot of stuff. It's been a very busy week, both with the Big Ten in Indianapolis and the ACC in Charlotte. We have to start with this one. Of course, UCLA, one of the 4 new schools that's going to be in to the Big Ten this fall. Deshaun Foster is the new head coach of the UCLA Bruins after Chip Kelly left for the OC job at Ohio State. Well, here is Deshaun Foster's welcome, Scotty, to the Big Ten and its media and all things. What an introduction it was. Here's Coach.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting 2 great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. You know, I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA.
What is happening here?
It's us and USC. We,
Whoa.
What a disaster.
Coach, come back. Coach.
I'm just basically excited, really. That's it.
What in
Any
God's
questions?
name? Yeah, what in God's name was that? That was a disaster. That was a traffic jam on the 405. What was that?
That was a tough scene.
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was tough. That was real uncomfortable for Deshaun Foster. Now, he got a little bit better once the questions, I guess, started rolling in, and then when he got off that stage and sat down, because this is another thing about these media weeks. They bring these guys to like 5 different places to take questions. So he was a little better once he got moving. But that was it's always, you make a first impression. First time UCLA's in that big room of big football, bro, and that's your first. That's tough, Scotty. God bless and good luck to the Bruins.
He just tried to give everyone a geography class that we're in Los Angeles, us and USC, and I was just like, what is going on here? This is very uncomfortable. Like, he is obviously uncomfortable around the press, around cameras, and I didn't even know. Like, so what obviously I remember him when he played. He was a great player. I don't know his coaching background. Like, was he working with Chip Kelly or something? Was he on that staff? Or why did they choose him? Yes. Where was he that he got the job? Because he don't look ready for it. I'll tell you that much. You've got to be, let's just face facts. You got to be slicker than that. That was a terrible performance.
He was the running back coach at UCLA for 6 seasons before getting the job when Chip left. So this is the guy that the players wanted. They wanted Deshaun Foster in there. He won the job. Now look, it doesn't because he can't stand up there in that hall in front of all those people mean he's not going to be a good coach. Not necessarily, but it's a bad way to start. It's not the ideal way that you want to start things off if you're UCLA in the big conference. Of course, USC is also joining the Big Ten this year. Lincoln Riley and the Trojans coming off of really an underachieving year. They had Caleb Williams coming off a Heisman win. They were basically 500. They got nothing done. But Riley says joining this conference is USC. We're already at the top. NIL, recruiting, all sorts of stuff. We'll be right there at the top of this conference already walking in.
Yeah, well, we are at the top of the Big Ten Conference. I mean, we're at the top of any conference. I don't ever look at ourselves below anybody. I never will. Listen, 2 years ago, look where Ohio State and Oregon were 2 years ago. Look what they took over. Look what we took over. It takes time. I'm not a magician. I can't wave a magic wand and everything just be perfect right away. But find one area that we had made progress. So this thing's got momentum. It's coming. Nothing's going to stop it. That's fine. They started at a different point. We'll see where it ends up.
Yeah, whatever. I know this, that he hasn't won yet in Los Angeles, and the natives are getting restless, and they're already trying to chew Ryan Day's legs off in Columbus, those same natives. And then Lanning's got a loaded team with a really good alleged quarterback at Eugene, and we'll see if they can beat Ohio State when they play them at Outson in early September. But the reality is this. It's easy to brag about USC because of their history, but he hasn't done anything there yet at all. And they hate him in Norman. I'll tell you that much. And we'll see what he does in the Big Ten, because I've heard all I can take about Ohio State and Oregon. I've really not heard anyone saying USC is going to win it, but he obviously seems to think they are.
Yeah, let's call it like it is. USC hasn't mattered since Pete Carroll left. Am I right or am I wrong? USC hasn't mattered since Pete Carroll went to Seattle. They haven't mattered since, bottom line. And then I also saw him say, and you sent me the story too, and I watched a little bit of the interview. He says he wants to keep playing Notre Dame, but if it's going to make it easier for him to win a championship, he'll chop that rivalry right off the schedule.
Here we go again. Didn't I do this yesterday?
Get rid of another rivalry.
Penn State's afraid of Pitt, and now USC's afraid of Notre Dame. Let's ruin another great rivalry while we're at it.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
If this wind, like we have out of the Northwest, was here all week, it would be insane watching these guys play in it. But it's going to be a southwest wind, which makes it a little easier as far as the direction of the wind. The guys will have it a little bit of a break on the back nine. But it is such a fun golf course, one that I really do think tests every single aspect of your game.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. We continue with the Big Ten, and there's some big expectations all of a sudden in Lincoln because they got a quarterback and Rule's got a good team. Finally, we've been through all that Scott Frost nonsense.
Yep. Been through all the Scott Frost nonsense. Second year for Matt Rule in Lincoln. Of course, last year really was an extension of the years before. Nebraska played well in a lot of games, but just came up short. Lots of close losses. Rule's going to start to turn that around, especially since he's now got Raiola sitting there at quarterback. But here's what he said about the league itself, Scotty, and that is that with the new 12-team college football playoff, the Big Ten is the best conference in America, and they should have at minimum 4 teams in the playoff every single year. Here's Rule.
In the Big Ten, we have to go into someone else's stadium in our league 5 times and duke it out. So, but I think we'll have a lot of access to the college football playoff, and I think 4 teams from this league should get in every year because this is the best league. This is the NFL of college football in my mind. It stretches from coast to coast, different time zones, different weather. That's not to diminish any other league. The SEC is amazing. These other leagues are great, but the challenge in the Big Ten is going to be really difficult. Travel, weather, and great teams. For us, we think every game's a big game because we're playing in it, and we want. You didn't come to Nebraska because you wanted to play an FCS slate. You came here because you want the challenge of. We get to go to the Coliseum and play football. How lucky are we? And so that's why you come to Nebraska. That's why in recruiting, competitiveness is my number one trait, because I want guys who want to prove it on the field, not anywhere else.
I actually buy into Rule at Nebraska. Everywhere he's coached college football, he's won big. And in the NFL, he sucked. He is a college football coach. Stick to what you're good at, Romeo. And I think they're going to actually win with Raiola and with Rule, without a doubt. I think they're going to start winning in Lincoln again.
I'm with you. I'll buy in because, like you said, he's done it in college, and he's done it at places like Baylor and Temple.
Yeah.
For him to now be in a place like Lincoln, I think all the stuff that everyone said about Scott Frost that he was going to do there, maybe not the extreme stuff like the governor gave out with the 2 national championships, but I think all that stuff you'll start to see with Rule. I think this year they'll jump to maybe 8 wins, maybe 9, and then next year, Scotty, Raiola gets even better. They could be a player in that conference in terms of winning it and making that playoff. Rule's going to have them in the right direction. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing because I know you have all this other stuff. Real quick, the guy, I have to mention it. I watched the guy, Fish, is that his name, at
Yes.
Washington? So the guy took over. He left Arizona for the DeBoer's job at Washington with the Huskies in Seattle. And I saw him do an interview today, and he literally said, well, we lost 21 of 22 starters. I have 2 transfer quarterbacks. I do have my staff with me, so we're going to hit the ground running. Our goal is to be the toughest team in the Big Ten. And then if we're the toughest, the scores will eventually reflect that. I think what that really means in Portuguese is Washington is going to suck. They lost their entire team. Their entire team is gone. Every single position has a new player in it. You can't win like that in a Big Ten your first season in. I don't care who the coach is. I really don't.
And then you factor in all those things I was saying to you yesterday, which is you're moving in, you're playing several teams you never play on a regular basis, and you're going into this new conference with tons of travel. You're doing it with basically a whole new team, a whole new coaching staff. They are going to have a long year. I hope they had fun last year, going all the way to that national championship game. They had a lot of fun because it's going to be a rude awakening in the Big Ten for Washington this year. It's going to be real.
Without a doubt. Here's the deal. Bet against them every week and make all kinds of money. They have no one. Obviously they got a team, but they've never played together. That team was great, and they're all gone. So when you have a great team that's all graduated, gone to the NFL and what have you, that means it's time. It's turnover time. They flipped the pancake. They're starting over. Starting over in the Big Ten is the kiss of death. They're going to lose, and they're going to lose big.
We will come back and hear from one of the Big Ten coaches who wins 10, 11 games every year, hasn't been to a college football playoff. Maybe the expanded playoff will help him. That's James Franklin at Penn State. We've got Ferentz as well. And how
king
about
of the peas.
Mario Cristobal with the U, Scotty? How he's feeling heading into this season?
Cane day, cane day, cane day.